G'day, we're here today with a very special guest, Keith Jackson. Spoiler alert, Keith has been a member of the AWU for 71 years. That's right, 71 years. So I thought I'd take this opportunity, drop down to Morwell. We've just been out for a nice lunch, and I thought we'd just come back to the office and have a chat and find out a little bit more about Keith. How you doing, Keith?
Good there, very good.
That's good. Right, what year did you join the AWU?
Well, actually, it was a union that was amalgamated with the AWU, it was the Iron Workers. But
Yep.
AWU amalgamated together later. But I joined in 1954 at the old gas and fuel building out of Mall there.
Yeah, wow. And what made you join the union?
Well, I was only a young boy there, of course, and it was a union site. Everyone joined the union.
Yeah.
You were in the union. It was a union site, and that was it.
The good old days.
United you stand.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And what over your 71 years, what kept you engaged to stay in the union?
Well, we got a lot of conditions. We fought for a lot of conditions. We lost a bit of time going for conditions. When I worked at Hazelwood, or when I worked at Geelong, C station, D station, W station, I worked on all the power stations out there. I worked with different companies, and I lost a lot of time off work, but we got conditions and we kept them.
Yeah.
And later on, when I worked at Barry's Beach, we got really good conditions. We got money that was given to us that you shouldn't have been getting.
We might cut that bit out. Which I love.
Yeah.
And then, what would you say, looking back on your time as a union member, what would you say was the most significant achievement that either you or the union or your workmates managed to achieve?
The agreements we had down Barry's Beach was probably some of the best ones we achieved.
Yeah. So under the agreements, wages, conditions.
Yeah, we got our height money thrown into our severance.
Yeah.
And they paid that off to us in the finish of the job. 5% tax on termination, but then the government changed it after a little while after that.
Yeah. So do you believe that your time as a union member, from start to when you finished working and became a retired member, but the wages and conditions, did that assist you in living with dignity? Did that assist you with the cost of living stuff? How do you feel that the union, what part did the union play in that piece?
Superannuation, we never got any of that sort of thing. It just started before I finished. It lasted a little bit before I finished, but I saved a bit of money and I bought stuff.
Yeah.
To help me live.
Yeah.
Like I bought Commonwealth Bank shares,
Yeah.
which I only paid a little bit of money for them, and they're worth a lot of money now, and they get good dividends and helps me to live.
Yeah. And that was as a result of the wage and conditions that you got under a union agreement.
Well, when I worked on Hazelwood, when they were building that, we used to work 6 days, 7 days. We had one Saturday and one Sunday a month off.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Bloody hard. You worked bloody hard.
Yeah, work hard, yeah.
Yeah.
And we saved money. I got doing all right.
And then, so, have you seen the working conditions change over the years since you were on the tools to where we are now?
It was changing just before I finished. It was changing. When it come to before the turn of the century, the 1990s, I've seen things start to change. People didn't want to stick together so much. People used to stick together more. You know, things like people saying, "Oh, no, I don't want this and I don't want that." And you know, I said, well, you've got to stick up, and I said, I can see these people. They seem to change it. I was glad I was getting out of it.
Yeah, and then on safety, how do you think safety is maybe now compared to how it was when you were in your prime, you're working?
Oh, well, when I was very risky when we done it, we used to walk around still. No handrails, no nothing. We just walked around. I've seen a few people die.
Yeah.
When I worked in Queensland on one particular power station, this one big power station in Ipswich, there's quite a few people up there died.
Yeah, that's
It was
shocking.
in the 1960s. I was working up there.
I was just reflecting on, you were telling me at lunchtime how your grandfather, how he had died in town, and on a horse and cart. Now I know cart is the wrong name for it, the wrong word, but he was just taking wood to the
nuns in the church. That was in 1923. That was well before
Yeah.
I was ever around.
And he was. Can you tell me that story again? Just
In 1923, he was taking wood to the convent for the nuns, and he came past and I'm only reading what was the Gippsland Gazette,
Yeah.
so I got the paperwork at home. But Mr. Jackson was hard of hearing, and they told him to stop, and he just kept going, and they dropped it, and the limb hit him and killed him.
so no barriers, no traffic control, just
No, nothing.
horse and cart, and off you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. And what advice, if any, would you give young people today, young workers today, about joining a union?
Well, you know that you stand, divided you fall. That's the same. We said, and that's it. You got to keep together. Unity is strength.
And do you have any advice for me as the state secretary on what I can do and what we can do as a leadership team to make the union movement better?
Well, most secretaries are pretty well on the ball on the time, but you've got to instill in the people that what you just asked me, united you stand, and that's what you got to instill in people and tell them what's happened in the past, how originally it was a 44-hour week, and then they got it to 40 hours, and then they got it to 38, and then you don't get nothing without unity.
Yeah.
And
So keep on fighting.
fighting, yeah.
Yeah. Keith, I reckon you're an all-round legend. 71 years as a member of a union. When did you become a retired member?
Oh, I wouldn't know.
Yeah. So I know your organiser, Warren, had reached out to me and said, hey, this guy just came into the office to pay his retired members membership. He's been coming in for all of these years, and we need to get in front of him, take him out for lunch and have a chat. And really appreciate the fact that you've come out, that we're able to sit down and have a chat. I think you're an all-round legend. I do have a couple of things here that I want to present you with. This is the Bill Shorten. So
Oh, yeah.
the Beaconsfield, this is the Bill Shorten belt buckle. So I'd
yeah.
love you to have that. Bill
Yeah.
was obviously a legend in our union, is a
Yeah.
legend in our union.
Yeah.
And then this is the AWU Victoria Retired Members Badge.
Oh, wow.
So we'd love you to have that as well. We thank you for everything you've done for our movement. We thank you that you're still part and still reaching out and still trying to send your wisdom our way.
Well, the point is you've got to have a union. If you don't have a union, well, they'll just we'll go back to the days with queuing. And you get nothing. We'll be back to working 44-hour week again.
Yeah.
Don't you worry, the bosses will take things off you. They want everything done cheap and whatever.
Yeah, great.
Look at that blooming Wayne Hancock's, what's her name? Gina Reinhardt.
Yeah.
She was trying to bring Vietnamese people in here to do the job, bring them in and pay
As
them
cheap as
nothing.
they possibly can.
Yeah, so you got to keep it away from those people. You got to stop them.
Yeah, excellent.
Well, that's very nice of that. I appreciate that.